friends, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new or if you're coming over from the playlist. I'm Holly, and welcome to another Foodie Friday. So if you've been with me for a while, you know that the first Friday of every month is Foodie Friday. We get to share any types of recipes that we like, so it could be a breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, anything, crock pot meal, barbecue, seafood boil, whatever our little hearts desire. We get to share it with you, and hopefully you will find some great ideas here that you can make for your family. And I'm going to leave the playlist down below of all my YouTube friends that are making some recipes for this collaboration, and please go and check their channels out. That link is down in the description box. Also, it is being hosted by Tiffany at Small Town 6 and Jessica at Jessica My Rose. They both have great content on their channels. They both have food content, and they also have lifestyle content. So please go and check their channels out. I know you will love them as much as I do. On my channel, I have a lot of food content, grocery hauls, what I cooked for dinner type videos, also collabs, and I'm trying to do some day in the life type videos. So if you like that type of content, please click that subscribe button down below if you're not already subscribed. I would absolutely love to have you here and become a part of my YouTube family. And now I'm going to show you what it is I made for this Foodie Friday. I hope that you enjoy the recipe and the video.
And for this Foodie Friday, I'm making a recipe that is called Taco Crunch Ring. It's a little different, and it is going to be made with a Bundt pan. So it's a little fun recipe to make. But for this, you will need 10 tortillas. I'm using the whole wheat one. That's all I had. But you can use the flour ones, which would work well. And I just cut it into strips. And you will need 1 pound of ground beef. And I suggest if you get lean, that would work best. Also, 1 large onion chopped. 1.5 cups of Mexican style cheese or cheddar cheese. I prefer the Mexican style because it melts better, I think. Also, 1.5 cups of mozzarella cheese. 1 large jalapeno pepper. You just want to chop that up. And the recipe calls for some seasonings, but the seasonings that they call for was not very much. So I'm kind of adding my own, and you can either follow this, which turned out really great, or their recipe. But it's cumin, onion powder, chili powder, garlic powder, pepper, and some taco seasoning, and I'm using 2 tablespoons. Also 1 cup of Doritos for this recipe. You will need some salsa, either for dipping or to pour it over when it's done. But definitely you will need some salsa for this. And now I'm going to show you how quickly and easily this is to put together. I'm using 90% lean ground beef for this, which worked out great. It doesn't have a lot of grease in it, but add your seasoning. So I'm adding the taco seasoning, then I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder and 1/2 teaspoon of the cumin. And as I said, the recipe only called for a few ingredients, so I'm just kind of kicking it up a little bit. So garlic powder, and I just add as much as I want of that. Onion powder, the same thing. Onions, add that to your ground beef, then add the jalapeno peppers. And you want to just cook this down until the meat is completely cooked and your onions are translucent. And I just break up the meat until it's very small pieces. I'm going to add some garlic to this, some minced garlic. Garlic's always good. So add it if you want. If you don't, you don't have to. I just like garlic in a lot of my recipes. But you're going to cook this until it's completely done. And while that is cooking, prepare your Bundt pan. Just spray it with some nonstick spray. And then you're going to start adding the strips to it and go all the way around. So you're just kind of layering it over the other one. So you don't want to have any pieces showing, like you don't want to have the pan showing. So you want to make sure that each piece of the tortilla is layered over the next one. And you're going to continue to do that until the Bundt pan is completely full. So you kind of want to go from the middle part of it to the top, and I didn't quite do that. You could see that they weren't all the way up to the top, but it still worked out okay. So just continue going around and take each strip. And I use the longer strips for this, and I save the other strips that are more, that have the rounded curve for later. And then I go back and try to just adjust it a little bit, bring it up a little bit, and just make sure there's no gaps. And then take the cheddar or the Mexican style cheese, just put half of it on the bottom and just go around and fill that little area in. So this will be your first layer. While I was finishing the meat, I put a paper towel, a damp paper towel over the tortillas that I had, and I also put it over the pan so that way that wouldn't dry out. Now, you can see with this being 90% lean, there's hardly any, it looks like there's grease there, but there really isn't. So this was perfect. So if you can get 90%, that would be great, because the less juice you have, I think the better. Even though you would drain it off, but I did not have to drain anything off. This is exactly how it was cooked. So that worked out perfectly, and all my seasonings stayed in the pan and didn't go away with when I had to drain it off. But you're going to take half of the mixture, and we're going to layer this again in the Bundt pan. So this is the next layer. So take half of that meat and layer it over the cheese, but you also want to let the meat cool off just a little bit before you start adding it. And once you have the meat layered, then you add like the ends of the tortillas, the rounded parts, and you want that to go around and cover up that meat. And if you have to, you can break up some just to fill it in. If you need an extra tortilla, you can use that as well. I didn't need to, but then add the mozzarella cheese over that. And you want to just add half of it because you need the other half for another layer. Then add the Doritos, and it calls for a cup. I just put as many as I could to fill in that layer to cover it up. If you want, you can add a little bit more to it, but I think that was more than enough. Also add the ends again of the tortillas. As you can see how it fits, it makes it round, you know, it conforms to that pan. Then add the Mexican cheese or the cheddar cheese, and I did add just a little bit more than what I had because I didn't feel like it was enough to cover up those tortillas. So I added just a little bit more just to make sure it would cover them up. Because I also feel like this is technically like glue in a sense. It kind of holds and binds everything together. So I just wanted to make sure that there was enough, especially towards the end. Then you layer again with the meat. So this should be the rest of the meat that you have. and a pound is perfect for this. Add the mozzarella cheese on top of the meat. And the same here, I had to add just a little bit extra to kind of cover that up because it wasn't enough. I think I added more to the bottom, I guess. But just a little bit more, just to kind of fill in. And this will be the last layer, and you're going to add the rest of the ends of the tortillas that you have. And for this, you may need to use an extra tortilla, but I kind of made do with it and just kind of went around. But you can see how it just kind of forms around the pan, makes it round. But for these, I went ahead and cut those because that was as much as I had left. So I wanted to make sure, because that's the bottom, that it was completely covered. So I just cut those strips, which I realized once I put it in the oven on 350 for about 45 minutes, that's how long you want to cook this. I needed to do something else to make sure those did not fall apart. And what I had to do was put some mozzarella cheese on top because that was drying out a little bit, but it was also, those little pieces were not sticking. They were kind of falling off. So just a little bit of mozzarella cheese right before I was going to take it out helped to bind it a little bit. And you will need a flat surface to put this on. So this is the only flat thing I really had that I could use. Everything else kind of has a little lip to it. So I'm going to take this Bundt pan once it's cooled off a little bit, and I'm going to, which it already has, I'm going to put the cake platter over it, and hopefully it will come out right. And you have no idea how pleasantly surprised I was. It turned out right. And it didn't fall apart. But you will cut it into pieces, and you make sure you need a serrated knife for this. I pinched it just a little bit to get it to where it would cut, and just put it on a plate. And you can see where the Doritos are in that, but it's made to where you're supposed to be able to pick it up with your hand and then dip it in the sauce, but we didn't do that. We felt like it would fall apart, so we just and you can see the layers on the inside, how it cooked up, but it did stay together, so I was really pleased about that. But as I was saying, we just went ahead and put it on the plate, and put the salsa on top, which is really good, and that helps because that tortilla is going to be dry. But they weren't dry when we ate it. Like, it was soft. It wasn't too crunchy, even though it's supposed to be a crunchy taco bake. The Doritos were not crunchy or anything, but it really was a delicious meal. We really did enjoy this. Very different than what I usually make, and it was a fun dish to make as well. And I guess technically it is crunchy if you don't add the salsa to it. But please don't forget to check Jessica and Tiffany's channels down below in the description box, along with the group playlist. And I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell, and that will notify you when I post new videos. Hope everyone has a blessed day. God bless y'all.